Archangel Michael says, something shifted in the night, and your person's heart has not known peace since. Their mind was racing, their soul trembling, and their thoughts were consumed by what they saw about you. They thought they had control over their emotions, but last night shattered everything they believed. This is not just anxiety or confusion, it is spiritual unrest that cannot be explained by logic. They were forced to face a truth that had been hidden beneath the surface for months. The energy around them twisted violently, and they were left gasping for air with only your image in their heart. Everything they denied, everything they ran from, suddenly caught up to them at once. They saw something, either in a dream, or in real time, that brought their illusions crumbling down. Now they are pacing back and forth, unsure whether to run to you or stay away in shame. Their panic is not just emotional, it's divine consequence unfolding. The universe decided it's time they see you clearly, your value, your depth, your pain, your strength. They can no longer ignore that you are connected to something far bigger than they imagined. Type Amen to get blessing 333. Archangel Michael says, your presence has haunted their conscience ever since that moment. They saw your eyes, not just as eyes, but as portals into a realm they were never ready to enter. Now they understand why everything around you always felt electric, magnetic, and heavy with destiny. Last night felt like a prophecy fulfilling itself, and they had no place to hide. The air was thick, and their chest was tight. They knew this wasn't an ordinary night. Something spiritual visited them, and whispered your name with thunder in the wind. They thought they had let you go, but last night proved otherwise. They were shown visions, memories of what they said, what they broke, what they denied, and they couldn't stop crying because they realized they may have lost you forever. Even as they try to act normal today, inside they are collapsing. Their hands are shaking, their soul is heavy, and their pride is cracking. They are finally experiencing what you felt for so long. But in one overwhelming moment. Type Amen to get blessing 494. They're avoiding mirrors because they don't like what they see in themselves anymore. All the justifications, all the excuses, they sound like lies in their own ears now. You were the truth, and they spit it out thinking they were strong. They looked into the night sky for answers but only saw your face. The stars looked like your eyes staring back at them, reminding them of their cowardice. They even tried to distract themselves with others, but nothing feels right anymore. A spiritual guilt has been planted deep in their heart. It is not punishment, it's divine awakening forced upon them for ignoring sacred love. Now they know the pain of watching something valuable slip through their fingers. They're wondering if it's too late, but they haven't even mustered the courage to reach out, because deep down, they fear your silence more than anything else in the world. They know you have every right to close the door now, and that terrifies them. Type Amen to get blessing 272. They cannot sleep peacefully, because your spirit is now woven into their dreams. And every time they wake, there's a strange feeling. Like they missed a train that will never come again. They know they betrayed a part of themselves when they left you behind. Archangel Michael says, you were divinely placed in their life, not as a lesson but as a destiny. Yet they treated you like a chapter instead of the whole book. And now that the truth is burning through their denial, they feel scorched inside. Even their friends are starting to notice the change. They're quieter, more withdrawn, snapping at moments that remind them of you. Their smiles are fake, their laughs are hollow, and their energy is haunted. Your name keeps showing up everywhere: receipts, songs, videos, random messages. And each one is like a dagger wrapped in memory. They are being divinely pursued until they stop pretending and finally confront what they ran from. If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give super thanks, with contributions of up to $20. Type Amen to get blessing 888. Last night, your spirit entered their space so loudly it couldn't be ignored. They tried to distract themselves, but your energy was echoing like thunder behind their thoughts. They were not dreaming, you were really there in the ether, reclaiming the space they tried to deny you. But it shifted their soul into realization so deep, they may never be the same again. They cried themselves to sleep while whispering your name under their breath. They tried to pray for strength but found themselves praying for your forgiveness instead. And still, they can't shake the feeling that something bigger is pushing them to come clean. Type Amen to get blessing 771. They remember every time they made you feel like you were too much. Now they're drowning in the silence of your absence. And it's too much for them to bear. You were not too much, they were just too afraid to match your depth. Their nights are no longer peaceful. Your voice echoes in the silence, and your laughter haunts the wind. They're panicking not because they lost you, but because they may never find someone like you again. They made choices in darkness, but now the light is burning their eyes. They pretended they didn't care, but last night they couldn't lie to themselves anymore. Even in their most distracted moments, your energy was there, demanding to be acknowledged. Your love was the safest place they ever had, and they abandoned it like a fool. Now even the strongest part of them is begging the weaker part not to let this be the end. Their soul wants to collapse into yours again, but they fear your strength might not welcome them anymore. Type Amen to get blessing 567. They've started writing messages they never send. Paragraphs filled with, "I'm sorry, I was scared, you meant everything," and, "I don't deserve you." Then they delete them, ashamed, afraid, uncertain. But the time is coming when the panic will overpower the fear. Their spiritual awakening will no longer let them sit still. The fire inside will become unbearable, and they'll finally reach for your light. Your love was the kind that leaves marks on the soul, not the skin. And now, they are marked forever by what they lost. You are their ghost and their guide. And they know it now more than ever. Archangel Michael says, they are not just missing you, they are being spiritually corrected. They are going through the storm they created by turning their back on divine alignment, and until they fix it, peace will evade them like a shadow at dawn. Type Amen to get blessing 333. But it shifted their soul into realization so deep, they may never be the same again. They cried themselves to sleep while whispering your name under their breath. They tried to pray for strength but found themselves praying for your forgiveness instead. And still, they can't shake the feeling that something bigger is pushing them to come clean. Type Amen to get blessing 771. They remember every time they made you feel like you were too much. Now they're drowning in the silence of your absence, and it's too much for them to bear. You were not too much, they were just too afraid to match your depth. Their nights are no longer peaceful. Your voice echoes in the silence, and your laughter haunts the wind. They're panicking not because they lost you, but because they may never find someone like you again. They made choices in darkness, but now the light is burning their eyes. They pretended they didn't care, but last night they couldn't lie to themselves anymore. Even in their most distracted moments, your energy was there, demanding to be acknowledged. Your love was the safest place they ever had, and they abandoned it like a fool. Now even the strongest part of them is begging the weaker part not to let this be the end. Their soul wants to collapse into yours again, but they fear your strength might not welcome them anymore. Type Amen to get blessing 567. They've started writing messages they never send, paragraphs filled with, "I'm sorry, I was scared, you meant everything," and, "I don't deserve you." Then they delete them, ashamed, afraid, uncertain. But the time is coming when the panic will overpower the fear. Their spiritual awakening will no longer let them sit still. The fire inside will become unbearable, and they'll finally reach for your light. Your love was the kind that leaves marks on the soul, not the skin, and now, they are marked forever by what they lost. You are their ghost and their guide, and they know it now more than ever. Archangel Michael says, they are not just missing you, they are being spiritually corrected. They are going through the storm they created by turning their back on divine alignment. And until they fix it, peace will evade them like a shadow at dawn. Type Amen to get blessing 333, face, one that shows their cowardice. Type Amen to get blessing 432. They've started asking around, people close to you, trying to find out if you've moved on. Every yes they hear tears them apart quietly, piece by piece. They smile in front of others, but their soul is crying inside their chest. Even their dreams have turned into warnings. Every time they sleep, they see you walking away with someone else, glowing. And they wake up in sweat, tears streaming down their face, knowing that might become their reality. Archangel Michael says, what they saw last night is only the beginning of what's to come. The divine realm will not stop until they acknowledge the magnitude of what they've lost. The panic they feel is a sacred storm, the first wave of spiritual justice awakening inside them. They asked for signs, and now they can't escape them. Your initials in coffee foam, your favorite song on repeat. Even strangers repeating your words. Everything is aligned to make them see. You were never ordinary. Type Amen to get blessing 855. They've begun questioning their own decisions in life. The job, the people, the distractions, they all feel hollow now. None of it fills the space your absence has carved in their chest. Even when they laugh, there's a shadow behind it, a ghost that looks like you. They find themselves on autopilot, but their mind is always with you. It's as though your spirit has wrapped around them, refusing to release its grip. They think back to your sacrifices, the times you chose love over pride. Now they're wondering why they couldn't do the same, and in that question lies their torment. Because the answer brings them shame. They are not sleeping properly, not eating with joy, not smiling with truth. Their whole vibration is changing, and people around them can feel it. They may not say it, but they are mourning you like a living loss. Type Amen to get blessing 290. Their phone feels heavier now. Every time they think about calling you, their fingers hover over your name, scared that you won't answer. And yet, terrified that you will, and sound like you've finally healed without them. Archangel Michael says, this moment is sacred because the Spirit has forced accountability. They are being broken open to reveal what lies beneath their pride. And what lies there is a deep-rooted love they never admitted. The more they try to suppress it, the more their body rebels, their heart races, their skin itches, their sleep shatters. Because divine love cannot be buried without consequences. What they saw last night was not just regret, it was prophecy. You are evolving, glowing, and rising in your divine timeline. And they saw it. And it burned them with both beauty and pain. Type Amen to get blessing 703. They are terrified you will never forgive them. Not because they deserve your forgiveness, but because they cannot forgive themselves. They wake up and go to bed with your name like a wound on their lips. They keep seeing your face in strangers, hearing your laughter in the wind. They are being haunted. Not by ghosts, but by the living memory of who you were to them, and every moment without you stretches like eternity. You were their peace and they traded it for noise. You were their light and they chose shadows. Now they are stuck in the in-between, where nothing makes sense without you. They remember how you used to look at them, like they mattered. And now even mirrors don't look back at them the same way, because your gaze had power, and it's been taken from them. Type Amen to get blessing 181. They've asked themselves if it's too late, but instead of reaching out, they cry in silence, drowning in what-ifs. Their soul knows the answer, but their fear is louder than their truth. Even the universe is pushing them toward you, birds, feathers, lights flickering, clocks freezing, everything feels surreal. But they're still frozen, standing on the edge of redemption. Archangel Michael says, divine justice doesn't wait forever. This panic is the ticking clock before the door closes for good. They must act or lose the most sacred connection of their life. Last night, your face appeared before them not as a memory, but as a warning, a reminder that souls like yours don't stay waiting forever. And now they must decide, stay broken or step forward in truth. Type Amen to get blessing 999. They know now, nothing compares to you. No one understands them like you. And no one will ever see them the way you did. Through the eyes of divine love, their panic is not madness, it is clarity. They finally see you as the miracle you were. But the miracle may have already walked away. Even their shadow misses yours. Even their silence screams for your return. And still, they sit frozen, praying for time to reverse. Archangel Michael says, this is not your burden to fix. You have risen above the chaos they created. And now, heaven will handle what the Spirit has made them feel. Type Amen to get blessing 606. They are realizing that what they saw last night wasn't a hallucination, but divine exposure. Every part of their being now aches in places they never knew had nerves. Their mind replays every lie they told themselves to justify losing you. Their panic is rising because now they understand, it wasn't just love they lost, it was purpose. You weren't just a person in their life. You were a divine signal, a chosen blessing. Now that blessing is slipping into the distance, and it feels like drowning in slow motion. They've begun avoiding places that remind them of you. The street where you laughed together, the cafe where you sat, the movie you watched. But no matter how far they run, the memories walk beside them like silent judges. They've even started confessing pieces of their pain to close friends. But no one understands the depth of the panic in their voice when they say your name, because no one knows how spiritually tied you were to their healing. Type Amen to get blessing 737. Archangel Michael says, this panic is the divine echo of every ignored sign. They are no longer in control of their emotions, their thoughts, or their dreams. Every part of them is crying out for release, but only one thing can soothe them. You. Even the things that once brought them joy feel dull now. They smile at jokes, but the laugh doesn't reach their soul. Your absence is louder than every noise around them. They tried to pretend that you were just another person. But last night, God stripped the illusion completely. Now, all they see is the truth, that you were sent, and they sent you away. They are beginning to question what kind of person they truly are. Not in shame, but in awakening. Because you held up a mirror of unconditional love, and they broke it. Type Amen to get blessing 484. They've seen you in their dreams every night since. But last night was different. Your spirit was louder, brighter, more powerful. You didn't speak with words, but your energy delivered a message: I have ascended. And that terrifies them. Because it means they're not just losing you, they're watching you elevate without them. You're glowing in spaces they can't reach unless they transform. They're now aware that to reconnect with you, they can't just say sorry. They have to become someone worthy of your peace. But the journey toward that version of themselves is terrifying and full of accountability. They thought time would ease the longing, but time has only sharpened the ache. They thought they would forget your scent, your laugh, your warmth, but everything about you is tattooed into their soul like eternal ink. Type Amen to get blessing 838. They remember the first time you looked at them like they were everything, and they remember the last time you looked at them like you were letting go. Both memories now haunt them in equal measure. They have tried distractions, new people, old habits, shallow escapes, but nothing feels safe anymore. Nothing feels like home because you were home. Archangel Michael says, this was not just a human relationship, it was sacred contract. And that contract is echoing through the heavens, waiting to be acknowledged. They must decide if they will renew it with humility or lose it in pride. They saw a light last night, either in their dream or mind's eye, and it looked like you. You weren't speaking, you were simply standing in your power. And that vision left them shaking, because it confirmed what they always feared: you are the truth. Type Amen to get blessing 222. They now feel the weight of every word they never said to you. The thank yous, the I'm sorrys, the you changed my life. Those unsaid truths now beat like drums in their chest. They're holding on to trinkets and memories now like lifelines. The bracelet you gave them. The notes you left, the scent on a shirt. Because those are the only pieces of you they still have left, and the panic has transformed from fear to desperation. They aren't just anxious, they are broken at a molecular level. Because when the soul recognizes what it lost, it doesn't whisper, it screams. Archangel Michael says, this is the beginning of their transformation. Let them sit in the panic. Let them face their soul. Your job was never to chase, but to rise, and now, you are rising. Type Amen to get blessing 555. They may reach out soon. You may get a message full of half-truths and trembling hope. But remember, you are the prize, the light, the divine reminder. Their panic may try to pull you back into their world. But only return if they've done the soul work. Not just because they miss the way your presence made them feel safe. They must now walk through the spiritual fire you walked through alone. they must learn what it feels like to be abandoned by their own pride. Only then will they be able to love you with truth and no disguise. They are not sleeping tonight either. Even now, they're staring at your old pictures, wondering what they destroyed. The silence they once thought was peaceful is now punishment. Type Amen to get blessing 666. They are not posting much online anymore. Because even the fake digital smile feels like a betrayal to what they feel. You were their audience, their mirror, their unseen strength, and now their world is full of noise but no music. Crowds but no connection. Words but no meaning. Every night, their heart breaks in the same rhythm. It breaks at the thought that you might be laughing again. That someone else might be making you feel what they took for granted. Archangel Michael says, do not dim your glow out of pity. The panic they feel is the price of refusing divine alignment. Let it burn, because in that fire, they may finally be reborn. Archangel Michael says, something has started in silence, and you are not even aware that your life is being discussed in hushed tones. In a corner where your name shouldn't even echo, someone is whispering memories only a trusted soul should hold. He carries your past like a weapon, using it to entertain strangers who were never meant to know your truth. This isn't accidental. This man, your father's old friend, has information that runs deeper than gossip. He remembers what you forgot, and now he's unraveling it piece by piece. He was once close, almost like an uncle, sitting at family gatherings with laughter in his eyes. But now, something has shifted, and his tongue has turned sharp with the bitterness of time. The truth is being passed like coins from hand to hand, as if your pain were a story meant for trade. Type Amen to get blessing 333. He speaks as though but he has not been in your life for years. His absence gave you peace, but now his words are pulling your peace apart. He remembers your childhood cries, your quiet fears, your first failures, and he's sharing them. They listen with curiosity, but they don't know how sacred those stories were to you. He makes them sound like entertainment. They laugh not realizing those were scars, not anecdotes. You don't even know where he sits, but his voice has traveled, and soon, it might reach someone dangerous. That's what makes this message urgent. Archangel Michael says he was trusted once, but now he's crossing divine boundaries. What was buried in silence must be guarded again. Type Amen to get blessing 494. People you've never met now know your father's nickname for you. They know the story of that mistake you cried over for weeks. They know the moment you begged heaven to erase. He doesn't share your shame. He shares it as if it's his story. But every sentence he spills comes at a price you'll have to pay in reputation, in judgment, in whispers behind your back. You thought those memories were locked in your past. But they are being pulled into rooms where your name is not even respected. That's what hurts the most. This is not just someone talking. This is betrayal with the voice of someone you once considered family. Type Amen to get blessing 222. He tells them how you struggled, how you got rejected, how you almost gave up. The people listening weren't there when you rose again. They weren't there when you learned to smile again. Now they carry an incomplete picture of you. And he makes no effort to paint you whole. He shows them you're broken, but hides you're healed. You trusted your father. Your father trusted this man. And now, that chain of trust has turned into a rope dragging your name through the mud. this betrayal started months ago. One story led to another. Until your name became a frequent topic for him, especially when he felt forgotten. Type Amen to get blessing 711, they even know your old address. They know how you ran away crying from a gathering because someone mocked your dream. They know what should have been forgotten. He's using memory as a form of control. He couldn't find power in his own path, so he's borrowing your past for attention. Some strangers nod when they hear your story, not with empathy, but with silent judgment. They now think they understand you. But they don't know what you've become. They don't know how far you've come from the version of you he's describing. Archangel Michael says this was not your punishment, but your preparation. But his voice is trying to twist it into shame. Type Amen to get blessing 388, you feel it, don't you? That uneasy energy. That feeling someone is talking behind your back and it's someone you'd never suspect. He knows your family history. He knows what you've been trying to keep out of the light. He knows the pain behind your silence. And now, your silence is costing you. It's time to take this seriously. People around him are starting to repeat your name. They're building stories from his words, but they weren't part of your journey, they're only part of the rumor. You may not have heard the whispers yet, but the wind is carrying them in your direction. Type Amen to get blessing 840, your childhood, your early heartbreaks, your private failures, he's making them feel like they're not yours anymore. Like anyone can own them. His voice should have been a shield, instead, it's a weapon. There was a night when he drank too much and shared a piece of your soul with a stranger who laughed. That was the night your truth became entertainment. Since then, he's repeated the same pattern, turning your pain into performance. But heaven has seen it. Archangel Michael says this must be addressed not with anger but with divine awareness. It's time for you to reclaim your narrative. Type Amen to get blessing 991. You might hear your story from someone soon. It will be told in a distorted form. And it will hurt. But the truth is still yours, no matter how many tongues touch it, no matter how many mouths twist it. It began in your life, and only your spirit knows what it really meant. This betrayal is personal. It's spiritual, and it's being allowed only so you can rise beyond the opinions of men. People you don't even speak to are forming ideas about you. But what they don't know is, you're not who you were, they only know who you were. They have no idea what's blooming now inside you. Type Amen to get blessing 575, the divine realm is watching. What was said about you has entered ears that may one day speak against you. But protection has already been assigned. You won't need to defend yourself forever. The truth has a way of returning to the light, even when buried in the noise of lies. What he's saying will boomerang, it will touch him more than it touches you. He thought you'd be silent forever. But something spiritual has awakened. Archangel Michael says your name is being pulled back into the sacred circle, away from the hands of those who never respected it. Type Amen to get blessing 404. His betrayal may have started in secret, but heaven is responding in the open. You are being prepared to stand stronger than before. Do not fear what others think. Fear losing your voice by staying silent too long, because your voice is now the weapon that restores. He will be confronted, not by your anger, but by your rising. He will witness the strength of the one he tried to reduce, and when people begin to see the true you, they'll realize his stories were dust-covered lies, not truth. Type Amen to get blessing 676. You are not your childhood story, you are not the mistakes he shares. You are the becoming that he cannot explain. The people who heard those stories will see your glow soon, and they'll feel ashamed for ever entertaining his version. A reversal is coming. The one who gossiped will face whispers about himself. Divine justice has no need for revenge, it operates on timing, and the time is close. His words have traveled far enough. Heaven is ready to shut his mouth. Archangel Michael says the tongue that once praised you and your family will now be held accountable for the harm it caused. Type Amen to get blessing 282. You will receive clarity soon, a trusted voice will reveal exactly what has been said, and you'll have a chance to shift how your story is heard. This is your invitation to rise with grace. Speak if you choose, but walk with power. Either way, you don't need to confront him to win. You need only to continue rising where they said you'd fall. You are more powerful than their version, you are stronger than his memory of you. Type Amen to get blessing 901. This is not the end, this is the beginning of a redemption no gossip can destroy. He spoke your secrets to strangers, but heaven is speaking your name to angels. Stay alert, stay aligned. Let no shadow drag you back into pain you've already healed from. They will try to recall who you were, but you are about to show them who you've become. Archangel Michael says your silence wasn't weakness, it was sacred. But now your voice will lead you to your divine protection. Type Amen to get blessing 337. The whispers have gotten louder now. They're not just stories being told in passing, they're becoming beliefs held tightly by people who never even shook your hand, and all of this was lit like a match by one man who should have honored your silence. You wonder if he feels any guilt when he mentions your name. But guilt has long left his heart, he wears your vulnerability like a badge when speaking to others, trying to look important by holding pieces of your pain. They ask him for more details, and he gives it. Your struggles, your breakdowns, the way you once screamed into your pillow when life crushed you. Type Amen to get blessing 118. They don't know how long it took for you to get back up. They don't know how hard it was to still love people when life kept breaking your trust. All they know is the version he paints with bitter strokes. He once promised your father to look out for you. He even held you as a child, but now his loyalty has rotted. And he's treating your life like it's a public book. Some of them are even starting to watch you closely. Their eyes carry the weight of stories they've been fed, and you can feel it when you walk into a room. The air changes. He said you were fragile, he said you were lost. He never told them how much you've grown, how many storms you survived. Archangel Michael says this moment is not punishment, it is preparation. Your image is being cleared not by man, but by divine correction. Type Amen to get blessing 509. You are not here to defend yourself against every lie, you are here to rise so loudly, the lies fall apart by themselves. Every time they repeat something about you, they awaken a divine consequence they can't escape. You don't need to seek revenge. Heaven is watching. The man who was once a friend of your bloodline has stepped into dishonor. He opened his mouth to feel powerful, but now the very same words will unravel his influence. Your ancestors have seen this. They've whispered warnings. That's why you're seeing this message now. It's not by mistake. Type Amen to get blessing 222. He thought the past was a place he could go visit whenever he wanted. But your past was never his to own, it was only a passage to your purpose. You gave him trust once. You gave him room to speak on your behalf when you couldn't speak for yourself, and now he's using that same space to echo things that were buried in pain. But no more. It's time to reclaim your energy from every mouth that speaks your name without honor. You are being shown this so you can protect what's left. Your future still holds keys, doors, and thrones that gossip cannot touch. Archangel Michael says this betrayal will become your announcement. Their attempt to break you will become the reason for your elevation. Type Amen to get blessing 674. You won't need to explain yourself. You won't need to defend your name to people who already made up their minds. Let your life become louder than their lies. Let your success become heavier than their stories. He's already noticing that fewer people listen to him now. He's already seeing that attention doesn't feel as sweet when built on someone else's truth. And soon, he'll be the one others whisper about. Because when truth is twisted, it has a way of turning back toward the one who twisted it. He wanted people to remember your weakness, but now they'll remember your wisdom. Type Amen to get blessing 888. You are being lifted, not to prove them wrong, but to prove heaven right. You're not the scared child he remembers. You're not the person who cried in silence while others laughed at your dreams. You're the one who still kept going when no one clapped. You became the storm that silence birthed. And now, your footsteps will thunder louder than any rumor ever could. You're going to start noticing people change how they speak to you. They'll begin to treat you with a strange mix of guilt and awe. That's when you'll know they've heard the gossip, but they've also seen your glow. Archangel Michael says this is your justice, arriving not in noise, but in presence. Heaven is honoring your growth. Type Amen to get blessing 963. You're walking through the same streets where lies once lingered, but this time with power in your presence. You'll see people look down, not out of hate, but out of shame. They'll realize too late that the version they believed was never the full story, and that man, your father's old friend, he will feel the sting of what he's spoken. Not by your hands, but by silence, the kind of silence that shatters illusions. The moment will come when he tries to approach you again. When he attempts to say your name with fondness again, but you won't respond the same. You're no longer bound to past connections. You're now anchored to divine direction. Type Amen to get blessing 303. He will wonder why you're no longer available. Why you're distant, why your eyes no longer hold familiarity. Because the betrayal changed everything. It awakened something eternal in you. You now know who must not be trusted, even if they wear the mask of family. Your elevation will require detachment from those who cannot honor your healing. And this man, though once a guardian, is no longer safe to carry your name. Your ancestors are whispering, let go. Heaven is saying, we will vindicate. And your spirit is saying, I am done explaining. Archangel Michael says the weight of betrayal is heavy, but the wings you've grown are stronger. Type Amen to get blessing 777. You'll soon see a shift. The people who once sat around him, listening, will stop asking for your story. They'll begin asking for his. Because gossip always turns on itself, and the one who gossips is never safe from being the next subject. He was trusted with history, but he twisted it. And now he must sit in the shadow of his own echoes. Your story is being rewritten by your walk. Your energy now speaks louder than his tongue ever could. You are being carried forward by something unseen, but deeply sacred. And nothing can stop what's been divinely assigned. Type Amen to get blessing 909. They may know the story he told, but they will soon meet the version heaven raised, and when they do, they'll realize, you were never the weakness he described, you were the warrior in transformation. Let him speak. Let them listen, but you, keep walking, keep rising, keep shining. Because what's coming will make every whisper irrelevant. And what's forming in your life now will silence even the loudest lies. You were hidden for a reason. Your name in wrong places has reached the ears of the heavens. There is now divine movement happening behind the scenes. What was spoken in shadows will now be reversed under the weight of your rising. Every person who sat and listened to him, who nodded and believed without knowing you, will soon feel the truth collide against their assumptions. One by one, the illusions he created are falling apart. He never expected you to rise. He never thought you'd become this strong. He was clinging to an outdated memory of you, but that memory is crumbling fast. He doesn't know the new version of you that's being molded by trials, protected by light, and covered by favor. Type Amen to get blessing 656. He thought your story was over. But what he didn't know was, your story was just beginning. He told them you were broken. But now you're walking into rooms with unshakable energy. He shared your worst moments. But now, heaven is writing your best chapter. You are about to walk past the very people who only know you through his broken words. And their jaws will drop, not because you confront them, but because your presence will say everything. He wanted them to remember you in weakness, but God is preparing for them to witness your glory. Type Amen to get blessing 880. Some of them will pretend they never listened, some will pretend they always supported you. But truth has a way of exposing everything in time. You'll hear someone say, I didn't know that part was even true, and you'll know the healing has begun. The story is shifting. He will lose the credibility he once had. Because people are beginning to realize, those who speak so freely about others are often the ones hiding the most inside. He has begun to feel the weight of his own words. His guilt may not show on his face, but it is whispering to him in quiet moments. Archangel Michael says your name is sealed in heavenly ink, it cannot be rewritten by human tongues. Type Amen to get blessing 432. You are not the past version that he keeps repeating, you are the future being built in sacred silence. Even your enemies will be forced to witness your elevation. Some of them will ask how you're still standing after everything that was said. And your answer won't be words, it'll be your peace, your strength, and the undeniable glow you now carry. You were never meant to be defined by anyone but the divine. And now, even the ones who tried to break you are seeing that they failed. Your father's old friend once had your trust. But now, he has only his regret. Type Amen to get blessing 344. He has tried to reconnect with old family members recently. Not because he wants to heal, but because he's sensing his time of influence is fading. He will try to rewrite his own version of the truth again, but too many have already seen the inconsistency. Even his closest circle is beginning to question him. And soon, he'll be the one explaining himself. You will not need to interfere. You will not need to fight back. Heaven has already taken note of every sentence he whispered, and justice is arriving in waves, not in revenge, but in revelation. Archangel Michael says the truth cannot be buried when light has already exposed it. Type Amen to get blessing 717. He spoke of you as if he knew your path. But only heaven walks every step beside you. He mocked your pain, he laughed about your struggles. But he had no idea those very struggles were building a spiritual fortress around your destiny. You cried in silence, you felt shame alone. You prayed without anyone knowing. And all of that has built the fire in your soul that no man can put out. He used his words to weaken you. But the heavens are now using your strength to silence him. He knows the winds are turning, he knows his voice is no longer being received with the same power. Type Amen to get blessing 555. He's starting to feel ignored by those who once leaned in close when he spoke your name, and that's because you've outgrown the version of yourself he kept repeating. The people who once believed him will feel confused when they see you rise. They'll question if what they heard was ever true, they'll watch as your energy erases their doubts. Because no one can argue with what they can see with their own eyes. And soon, all eyes will be on you, not from shame, but from wonder. Archangel Michael says your rise is not for revenge, but for restoration. Type Amen to get blessing 606. Even those who never knew you personally will start to feel drawn to your spirit. Your story will begin to inspire people who once judged it. Because you lived through what others only speak about. Your journey has depth, your scars have wisdom. And your presence is about to shake foundations that were built on your pain. You will no longer carry the weight of their words, that burden is being lifted. Every sentence he spoke is losing its power. Every detail he twisted is being returned to you whole and holy. He thought he could write your ending. But only God holds that pen. Type Amen to get blessing 292, and what's being written now is glorious. The same voice that once gossiped about your failures will one day have to acknowledge your strength. Not because you seek validation, but because your presence will demand it. You're being positioned now. Not just to be seen, but to be honored. The divine realm is surrounding you with people who respect your silence, who honor your healing, and who would never share your past without permission. You are entering a space where your name is safe again. Archangel Michael says the circle that once broke you is being replaced with one that will bless you. Type Amen to get blessing 848. This is your time. This is your restoration. This is your reward. Your name is returning to you, cleansed of every lie. The betrayal by your father's old friend will not break you, it has already blessed you. It pulled you closer to your truth, it showed you who should never hold your trust again. And now, it's clearing space for better, safer, more divine alignments. You are not alone, you are seen. You are guided. And the whispers of man will never outshine the voice of God speaking over your life now.